Hey there, guys. Yeah, not uploaded anything in quite a while. I don't really have any kind of clear ideas for what to do for like upcoming videos or anything. I had this idea for a response to one of the Cinema Sins videos, and it was a Christmas film. I'm talking about thinking, if I start work on it now, it'll be ready in time for Christmas. And it's been like a month since I even touched the script for it, and I don't know if I'm going to get back to it. So yeah, I feel like no motivation to make any kind of script at the moment. For any kind of video. I thought maybe I'd just at least do something. So I have been active in YouTube comment section for some of my videos and also other people's videos, just having like little discussions back and forth. And some people I have discussions with, it's actually quite sort of funny how worked up they get, and the sort of weird sort of logic that a lot of people use when I try to have discussions with them. There was one particular discussion I had a couple of months ago with this person about a character in a TV show that they didn't like, and I was trying my best to defend. I actually went back today and tried to find this thread so I could give you some print screens of what exactly this person said, but I can't seem to find it now, so I don't know if they've blocked me or what. So I'm going to just have to sort of reiterate the sort of basic details of the discussion from memory. Basically, this person takes something this fictional character does in the show, and they describe their own sort of take on the situation. And I'm reading through their description and I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, that didn't happen. There's nothing about the show that implies that that's what they did. There's nothing in the show to suggest that this was any kind of possibility or that that was a danger. And I'm just breaking down every single detail of the way that they describe the scene and just saying, no, I'm sorry, that's an incorrect description of what actually happened in the show. That's wrong. That's incorrect. Just not even really necessarily saying that I disagree with them, just correcting them. Your information is wrong here. You're actually factually getting these things wrong. And what I got back from them was something very kind of perplexing to me. They basically came back to me and said, I gave you my breakdown of this scene in a sort of, the phrase they used was that the term they used even was devil's advocate. It was my devil's advocate take on the scene. I expected you to return the favour and give your devil's advocate scene of, I guess my more positive take on the way this character acts in the scene. So apparently this person believes that playing devil's advocate about a scene and assessing a character's actions means they have to make stuff up and act like what they did was actually far worse than what it actually was. And I apparently owed it to them, or I think the phrase they actually use that phrase, you owe it to me, or you need to return the favour, by giving a more positive take on the way this character acted in the scene, by again just sort of making stuff up and acting out like the things that they did was somehow different or meant something different. So, first of all, I don't think they really understand what the term devil's advocate means. Just to illustrate, let me see if I need some sort of physical objects here. So it's just things I happen to have on my desk. So, say these are two people that have an opinion about something, and them being on this side of the screen represents them having the same opinion about that thing. They can't really have a discussion or an argument if they agree about the scene. So the idea with playing devil's advocate is that one person changes their opinion about that thing or that scene or whatever. And now they can have an actual conflicting discussion about, one person saying one thing and another person saying a different thing. If both people play devil's advocate, then you're back where you started. You're back to agreeing again. So both people playing devil's advocate is completely pointless. So that's already kind of a problem. But they also came across as sort of saying like, you owe it to me, or you need to return the favour by giving your own take on this scene. I don't really understand why I owe them anything, because what they were doing here and giving this sort of breakdown of the scene is something they did entirely of their own accord. It wasn't something I asked them to do, and it wasn't, more importantly, something I wanted them to do. If I say to you, like, have this tube of cream here, you can have it, and I might be sort of like, oh well, cheers for giving me this thing. I didn't ask for it, and I don't really want it, but I appreciate that you at least felt like maybe I'd want it or something. But then if the person then came back to me and said, "Hey, you need to give me something in return now. Are you going to like pay for it? Are you going to give me that tube of cream like in return? Can I have this?" I'd be like, "Well, no. If that's your logic, if that's your reasoning or your thinking behind giving me this tube of cream, no, I don't really want this tube of cream. You can have it back. If you want someone to return the favour about something or give them something in return, that needs to be, agreed upon ahead of time. This person didn't explain to me that they were going to give me a breakdown of the scene, and I had to then agree to do the same thing in return. And the thing is, I actually did sort of not so much give my breakdown of the scene exactly, but I informed them that their breakdown of the scene was wrong, and attempted to inform them of what actually happened. So I feel like I kind of did give them a response. But the other thing this person was sort of saying was they didn't like the way that I was sort of providing a quote in my response of what they'd said and then giving my response to that specific statement that they'd made. For some reason, they didn't like me responding in that way. And so I think the mere fact that they saw that that's what I was saying in response to them, because I think they started another response by saying, "Oh, the fact that your next comment started with a quote from me, it had me tearing my hair out. I can't stand it." It's like, for some reason, they didn't like me having that sort of format. Again, they were sort of demanding that I respond in a different sort of way. Again, I don't quite understand why I have to be forced to respond to a certain person in a certain way, just because they're asking me to. I don't owe anybody on the internet anything to sort of act in a certain way just because they want me to. If they're not comfortable with the way that I'm responding to them, then they maybe just shouldn't partake in conversations where that is the case. They never actually even really explained what the issue was with me responding in that kind of way. I don't quite understand what the issue there was. I think maybe it's the fact that I provided quite large quotes from them, and then my actual response to that quote was much shorter. I think maybe that's one particular issue that they had with it. Again, I don't really see why that's the problem, but there you go. So it was very sort of weird. This person sort of trying to sort of manipulate the discussion by demanding that I respond in a certain way just because they had chosen to respond or say certain things, and they then decided that them choosing to do those things was doing me a favour, and it was then something I needed to do in return just because they felt like that's what I had to do. It's a very sort of sneaky sort of way of trying to manipulate the discussion or conversation by trying to force me to respond in a certain way or give certain arguments that I guess they felt they could respond to. That was another thing. I was giving sort of arguments or saying certain things, and they were saying, I don't want you to say those arguments. I don't want you to respond in those sort of things. I want you to say other things. It almost sounded like they were demanding that I only make arguments that they could respond to, or that they had decent counter arguments to. That they were acting like the fact that I was saying things that they didn't have a viable counter argument to was in some way my fault, and that I had to help them out in some way in this discussion by saying things that they actually had a counter argument for or something. Again, I wish I had gotten some print screens of these comments, because when I really started to break them down and what this person was saying, it really was absolutely hilarious. They were almost like a person having a go at, it's almost like a person in a running race having a go at the other runners in the race for running too fast. Almost, it was like, you need to run at a speed where I can actually beat you. It seemed to be like what they were saying. You need to make arguments that I can actually respond to. It really was sort of hilarious. But anyway, I left a comment which was basically sort of asking them why they felt that they were special in some kind of way. They felt like they were within their right to just sort of demand that I respond in a certain kind of way. And unfortunately, I didn't hear back from them. I think they actually sort of announced that would be their last reply or something. I don't quite understand the point of that. You don't need to announce you're leaving after a discussion, really. You can just leave it. Nobody really cares. So yeah, that's kind of an amusing kind of discussion I had in the comment section a couple of months ago. That now that I look back on it, it really is quite funny, the way certain people on the internet carry on. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you guys. I'm sorry I wasn't able to share the exact comments with you, but I just can't find them anymore. Anyway, that's that, guys, and I will see you again soon.